Hi, this is Stephanie Johnson again from Atlanta, and this is Module 7, Social Media Strategy for ICM 522. Again this week, Krista Myers and I are working together on this presentation, so I'll be doing the first part, looking at the people and the persona in our community, and Krista will wrap up the last part of the presentation with our goals and objectives and the last part of our strategy from our analysis. So let's get started. Just a reminder of what community group we've been looking at. It's the Internet Keep Safe Coalition, the iKeepSafe.org. It's a group that was founded, a nonprofit organization founded in 2005 with a vision to see generations of the world's children grow up safely using technology and the internet. And their mission is to do that by working to provide all the folks you see listed here with the materials and information they need to empower them so that they can teach children to be safe. These are the areas that they're mostly interested in. Their overall interest is in prevention and detection, internet safety, security, and ethics. But they look at all these different issues and spend time talking about things like cyberbullying and digital citizenship. And we talked about that last time. Their members fall into these categories. They started back in 2005 with 100 members that fit into these big group categories of professionals, parents, educators, youth, faith-based communities, business and government partners. The professionals include folks, they define them as media partners, psychologists, cybersecurity specialists, law enforcement and legal specialists, and public health professionals. The majority of their members fall in those first three categories: professionals, parents, and educators. So Krista and I did take some time to look at the social technographics ladder and Gladwell's categories, and we took some folks that we found within the community and put them in some of those categories. The creator of the group is still actively involved on the board of directors. The founder, Jacqueline Levitt, former school teacher, first lady, and she's the wife of a former member of the cabinet for the last president. So she's actively involved, but not the out front face that she used to be. The out front face is Marcella Hancock. She's president and CEO. Definitely the maven, the face, the out front organization, the data keeper, the person that's holding it all together. She's the one who goes to the UN. She's the one who definitely is representing the organization. Another person who's the maven of a different sort is Diana Grabber. Diana's a partner and founder of cyberwise.org. She interacts as much with this group as she does with her own group, and so she's definitely a data keeper, definitely holding things together, a connector, but also a maven, because she's definitely working to further things along. People look to her for insights. Lots of connectors, as I mentioned before. Katie Greer is an advisory board member, but is certainly sharing that information a lot more than other advisory board members, and we think perhaps she's moving up into maven status. A lot of teachers involved. These two at the bottom of the slide here. Daniel Kent is a teacher advocate who has a lot of followers, much like that Fabergé ad that was mentioned in our reading this week. In Groundswell, he had two friends and they had two friends, and so on. Every time he mentions something, it gets shared far and wide. Elizabeth Calhoun is a Google certified teacher who actually works for Google in a lot of their educational outreach efforts, works very closely with the iKeepSafe CEO also in curriculum efforts. And then a connector, which is not really a person but a thing, is AppCertain. It was created to help families manage and understand mobile devices, and that company cross-tweets and supports iKeepSafe.org, so that's kind of an interesting thing we discovered. We couldn't find a lot of critics for this organization. They're sort of invisible because they're the bad guys, I suppose, online predators and cyberbullies and hackers. But there was a professional trainer out there who said they didn't like what this organization did because they thought trained professionals should be doing this and others shouldn't be empowered to empower others to, I guess, be aware of cyberbullying. So that was the only real critical thing we found out in the blogosphere. So a typical member of this organization works in education, cybersecurity, law enforcement, or the legal field, is married with 2 kids, older kids, teenagers or older, is concerned with children's safety for altruistic reasons, really wants to do something good. Skews toward female, although law enforcement background tends to be male. Age is 45 to 60, a little higher than you might think. Most married, so you have dual income, but this varies widely. Obviously, if you got somebody who was a former member of the cabinet, that's going to be on the high end. You've got some people representing some software companies. Those are also on the high end. You've got some educators who are on the lower end. So it skews pretty wildly here. They do tend to be suburban identifiers, very computer savvy people involved with this effort. They shop online, they live online, but they also tend to be conservative. As far as where they talk, they're talking mostly on Twitter and Facebook. They're not talking on their own webpage. This is their blog based on their webpage. And you can see there's no comments on any of the blogs. That's because when you click on the comment at the end of the blog to share a comment, it goes directly to an email at a corporate account. So there's no real blogging per se going on here. But what they do have is an incredibly active, they use the blog to tweet, and they tweet that blog out everywhere, and that generates even mainstream media coverage, and it's shared by partners, and it goes to, they have chats, they have twit pics, they have all kinds of aggressive Twitter activity. So it's Twitter where they connect and where they link and where the conversation really goes on. If we wanted to have a conversation with this community, it would be through Twitter, we believe, and we would probably start that conversation about Facebook or something currently in the news, such as the Facebook privacy setting changes that are in the news right now. And that's how we would do it. And I think now Chris is going to talk to you about the O and the S part of our work this week. Right, Krista?